Hi, here Julian again in this part 6, the demos, and this is now part 4, I think it is, which is the accounting system. There's a bit embarrassing because I was demonstrating Jobber part 3 and seems the system went offline or crashed, which is frankly the first time that's happened in several months of usage. So we'll just fit onto the accounting system. Now, one of the reasons we went with Jobber and GoHighlevel, the marketing system that I demonstrated in part 1 and 2, was that they all integrated with with Quickbooks, the accounting system. We're using Free Agent, which was free. We had 2 versions of that. We started off as a sole trader and then as a limited company. And then everything seemed to work and integrate with QuickBooks. And so if we go to the customers and the list of customers, this is up to date with everything that you've seen. And so really, we add a customer into Jobber. It immediately syncs with QuickBooks, which also syncs with GoHighlevel. I think that's the way it works. So everything is sort of consistent, which is great. The problem is we had moved from Free Agent, we had to sort of cut off our accounts and then start in the new system. We're still not 100% because we've had 3 systems in 6 months, which is not ideal. So that was a big learning curve. I was also just talking to some accountants about some bookkeeping help, and from a local networking group, typical thing, you've got a bookkeeper or an accountant there, and of course they were happy to work with me, but basically seem to be saying, well, you need to move to Xero because it does 1 or 2 things better. And maybe I will. I've used Sage in the past, NetSuite, I've used Xero, and I liked it, but price and integration, I went with this, so I need to maybe revisit that, and I absolutely don't want to move for another, few months, just want to bed everything down. So this is the key issue really of choosing the core systems, is to have something that, all of these things integrate together. And the great thing from Jobber, which we haven't demonstrated yet, but in part 3, is that whenever we create an invoice there, you actually have to press a button to do a synchronize. It's not automatic in the background, which is not ideal, but doesn't really matter. It syncs all of the invoices. So all of the invoices are here, and it will say, look, this one's been paid, but the money hasn't got into our account yet. When it's been deposited, that one there's a test one has come through. So this becomes completely automatic. So the only thing we really need to do is add in our expenses, which is our employees on the payroll, and basically Amazon is nearly everything else. And so having that automated is really important. And so that's been, you cannot look at these things in isolation. They all need to integrate together. We need to upgrade this version, I think, because we don't have bills. We can only have expenses, which is sort of like we paid expenses to something, but we often get bills like to pay something for advertising. You've got a liability of a bill coming up in the future. This also does the payroll, and the payroll also syncs with the Jobber. So we do shifts, people go and do the work, they do a number of hours, they record that, we approve the shifts, the number of hours, and that then syncs here with the payroll so that we can then pay the people, and it can then report to the tax people, the HMRC. So really that makes these things, the whole system work pretty well. And then I'm not going to show you the P&L, but we then go to the standard reports, and we typically run a monthly P&L, and that's all that we do. So we can then analyze our revenue. We have a sort of gross profit, which is revenue from the clients, less the cost of the cleaners doing the work, less the cost of the materials, which is the chemicals, which is pretty small cost overall. And then we have lots of overheads with advertising typically and recruitment costs. Things like that, and we get to a net profit or net loss, and that works pretty well. So I'm not an accountant. I've learned all my accounting just by learning and using these systems, and some things get a bit fiddly. The bookkeeper was saying that there was some challenge with this, but Xero is great. I'm going to actually follow up with some bookkeepers who are specialists in QuickBooks and see how far I get with them rather than trying to switch over. So, and you can invite your accountant here or bookkeeper so they can have access and they can come in and make edits, do journal entries and all the sort of accounting things that there are. So to me, it does the job. It's pretty straightforward. And it's not that I prefer it to other tools like Sage or Xero and many others. And Free Agent is probably a little bit more comprehensive, it looks like, than Free Agent. But I'm not going to be an expert user ever. But it's that integration with the Jobber and with GoHighlevel that's been really the key thing for me. So anyway, I hope this was a useful, quick overview of an accounting system.